Okay, so I'm going to do a tack-it tumbler. I know you've seen a lot of them, but I'm going to attempt to use this 3M Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive. It is a permanent bond, but it does have a phase where it's tacky in between. So I'm curious if this one's going to work. I got this one at Home Depot. There's several versions of this with different numbers. But I thought this was the lowest number and the lightest bond they had of these. So I'm going to attempt this. I'm going to try and catch it when it's in the right tacky phase and see what happens. I'm going to try it on this black tumbler with some kind of a powder. I haven't even picked out the powder yet. So I am hoping it doesn't stink to holy heck. But it says to allow it to dry until tacky, testing it with your knuckle. And it says, if the adhesive is aggressively tacky and does not transfer to your skin, it's ready to bond. So, it's one of those, if you were doing both surfaces, you would spray both and then apply your pieces together. But I'm going to go out, I'm going to get this sprayed. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the time and see how long it takes to get to where I think it's the right level of tacky, and get my product picked out in the meantime, and then I will be back to see how this works out. Okay, so I sprayed it. It does spray white, which might make a difference in what it's useful for, if it works at all. It's been on here about 20 minutes, and it's pretty tacky. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chameleon Powder Pony for this one. This is from Woody's Goodies. And yes, I've had the song in my head since I picked the color. But I'm going to go ahead and brush it on. And I'm not sure if the texture of this is going to be very conducive to this method. But I'm going to follow through with my test since I have it now. Too much, too much. I think maybe I should have skipped the powder and switched to glitter, but my test was kind of aimed at being a powder. I do have a another spray coming, an actual tacky spray that's intended to be tacky, so when that gets here, my first order got canceled from where I ordered it from the first time, so we'll see if it shows up this time. And I do want to just burnish a little bit and see what happens. Yeah, see, the color is not going to come through as true because of the texture of the spray. So I think this method I'm going to end up using much more powder than I would with the regular tack-it method. But I'm going to follow through all the way and complete a tumbler. My tumbler doesn't like the armors on here, clearly. I'm just going to keep burnishing around. I don't want to add more than I have to, so I'm going to kind of move whatever's going with my glove as I go. It's not flaking off the powder or anything though, so I think I am. I do have a cup ready for glitter tacket, and I think I'm going to immediately turn around and do that also. It doesn't give it that smooth burnished look. I'm just turning this way to see the bottom better in my light. It doesn't have that super smooth burnished look you get from tacket, but it really actually isn't bad. I'll be curious to see how it looks under resin, and I'm going to get right to that step in as soon as I mix up some resin here. So, but this is what my sample on my lid looks like, so it's actually not too bad with the white, because it's not that purple that it looks in the jar. It's that purple in a certain light. So, depending on how this looks under resin, it might actually be a viable option. I don't know, I'm pretty impressed. I think I'm actually gonna go spray the one that I'm gonna do the glitter on. I mean, it definitely got good full coverage. But I will be back when I get this under resin. So yeah, I am over here talking to myself. The camera shut off and went back to the main screen, and but I put about 12.5 mLs of the liquidy split on here. I do have a couple of tiny bubbles, so I'm just going to kind of watch for them. I don't want to over torch this. The fast sets don't really like a lot of heat, so, but you can tell where it's not as flat and smooth as a tacket mica, but it still looks pretty good. The shift is there, so overall I'm not too unhappy with this, but I will be back to finish it off when I figure out what's going to go on it later. So sorry I forgot to record, but it was just, you know, the regular applying the resin, no big deal. You didn't miss much. Okay, so I think I decided I'm going to do a tattoo on this one too, and I think I'm going to go with this one. It just seems to scream for it. So I'm going to trim it down. I didn't trim this one yet. So just take your scissors and trim in and get some of that excess off. It just makes it easier to get positioned and placed. So, trimmed up, I'm going to peel the plastic off the top. I just thought this would look good with that color. This is like not a skinny, so it's going to have a little bit of a curve, which will make it a little bit more challenging. I just stuck it there, so it's going to have to stay there. So this one may get a little buggered up because it is very large on a curve, but we'll find out. If so, I'll wash it off and start again. Getting my rag unwrapped. Hopefully it doesn't come out too wrinkled. I'm getting so used to working on skinnies that I forget when I switch back to a traditional that I have that curve to work with. I had a second tattoo picked, and I really probably should have gone with the initial instinct, but it's too late now. this slightly damp again. Just because I think I need more water on this side. So I'm going to use this silicone brush and try and smooth it out some while the backing paper is still on. But the backing paper is already starting to slide, so the tattoo is probably mostly adhered at this point. So alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and slide this backer off and see what we ended up with. Oh, not too bad at all. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to rub my damp cloth over the top just a little bit. I do have some little air pockets that I'm going to try and work out. I'm going to have to get this cup better secured on here before I spin it again, I think. But, yeah, that worked out pretty cool. I am pretty pleased with that. So, I'm going to let it dry and then I'll get a coat of epoxy on. Okay, I have my resin mixed up and ready to go on this one. So, I'm going to get to it. Just a normal coat. And I think this might have been a little bit wet still. I don't know where all that water just came from. I might have tipped it and it might have come out of inside of the cup. So that may be causing this layer to repel a little bit. But we'll find out. Yep. Crap. Sorry. So this will definitely need another coat tomorrow, which is fine. It's only at 2 right now. I thought it was completely dry. I thought wrong. So mostly it's just going to cause it to repel a little bit. It shouldn't be a big problem in the long run. Just definitely going to need another coat. I'm going to wait for that tattoo to come back around. There's just one little spot on this side that's actually not covering right now. The rest of it actually did cover as I pushed the water off, so. It's actually the first time in all of the tattoo cups I've done that I've had that happen, so. Go figure. And this took very, very little resin, this coat. This is probably about 10 mLs. So, all right. And we'll come back and check on it in a little bit. But that's it for that coat. Let's get a closer look at this one. It actually seems to be okay where I had that little bit of water. I do see one bubble on it, but I'll take care of that. Look how pretty that is. That sparkle. I love the color this chameleon came out. It's like a lavendery mauve shift. Look at it. It's just beautiful. Bring it around close one more time. So, there it is. Color this cup actually matches my shirt pretty good.